Good afternoon. Welcome to One Thing Tech. You guys ready?
Ready.
Let's do
Ready.
it.
Awesome. So we're talking today about conducting your virtual listing consult. Now, uh, I will not assume that none of you have scripts. I'm going to treat you as people who are used to doing listing consults. As was said this morning by a wise person whom I respect very much, we are doing business as usual, just a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to continue taking listings. We're going to continue listing. And next week, we're going to talk buyer consults as well. So certainly check in next week if you're more of a buyer's agent. That's wonderful. But we're going to talk how to do that. Well, the very first thing is we want to set the listing consult. Now, we're used to calling our folks up and setting an appointment and just showing up at the house. Well, we no longer can just ring a doorbell and come in. Those of you who are here today are at least somewhat familiar with Zoom. And so I'm going to highly encourage that you guys hold your listing consults over Zoom, get face-to-face. Now, if your clients are more comfortable with FaceTime, I understand that completely. But understand this, Zoom gives you the ability to share your screen as if you have printed materials right there in front of them. It's just like sitting down. It's as close as you can get to sitting down at the kitchen table and actually passing paper back and forth. As we're going to go through today, you can see the screen that I share. You can do the same thing with your prospective clients and give them the proper information so you can equip them to make the very best decision that they can. So thank you for the feedback, Edwina. The YouTube channel will have the topics covered as well. So we're going to dive right in. Let's look and see Zoom recently, because of a whole bunch of what they call Zoom bombs, they changed all of the defaults around security settings. So they enabled passwords automatically. They automatically set it so that people are pushed to a waiting room instead of join before host. There's a bunch of different things that you'll need to go in and change. And really, I say a bunch. There's 2 or 3 different things you're going to want to change so that you can more easily communicate with your folks and have people show up in a waiting room. You think of it this way: if your clients show up at your office, you want to have somebody escort them to the conference room or at least to a waiting room so you can meet them there. If we do nothing, then they're going to be stuck outside the front door and it's going to be locked. And so we need to be able to unlock that door and let them through. Now, if you want to provide them with a passcode, if you want to keep your meeting secure, I completely understand that. That's fine. I'm choosing right now, and I'm not saying this is the very best way, but I'm choosing right now to provide convenience for others in order to meet me on Zoom, because I understand that not everybody that I'm meeting with over Zoom is familiar with it. Not everybody understands that, like when we came into this training room today, that we got to type in a passcode. And where do you find that passcode? And if you're on Windows or Mac or Android or iPhone, the experience is going to be different. And so removing that password and just making it simpler can remove some of those barriers and keep it focused on the conversation and the relationship, which is really what we want during a listing consult. So let's jump over. I'm going to share my screen. You can see I'm at zoom.com. I'm going to click my account. If you haven't yet, you'll log in here with your credentials and you'll have everything pop up. Now, I would recommend drop in a profile picture of yourself. Make sure your name is included already. We're going to click on meetings. This is the part that we're concerned with. We can see where we schedule meetings upcoming. We can see previous, but what you want to go to is your personal meeting room. Now, it's easiest if you host something, if you're meeting with people, I would recommend just keep it your personal meeting room. Consider this your office. If you would invite people into your office or into a conference room that you use on a regular basis, that's what this is. And so you have one place that you can tell people to go, just like if you were to say, yeah, meet me on the second floor conference room, this is the exact same thing. You're saying, meet me at this link right here. It'll be easy for you to jump into your personal meeting room every single time and remove some of the confusion. Right here, where it says require meeting password, mine's marked with an X. Yours is likely marked with the checkbox. You're going to want to change that. The meeting options enable join before host is likely marked with an X for you. You're going to want to change that to a checkbox. Enable waiting room, there's a good chance this is marked with a checkbox. I like to mark that with an X. There are different things you guys might want to do, but if we're having listing consults, really we want somebody to come into our Zoom room and to be able to wait a moment so that we can join. Now, I will say this, if you're scheduling meetings back to back to back to back, it may be a really good idea to keep this waiting room, because if you're completing a listing consult with one individual, you can have the next appointment show up, be in the waiting room, finish your business with these people, disconnect, and then bring the other person in for the waiting room. So if you are scheduling multiple listing consults back to back, highly recommend keep enable waiting room on. That's up to you entirely. How do we change this? We can click edit this meeting down right here at the bottom. You can choose whether or not people have video on automatically. I want all my participants to have video on, but I choose to have video off because I know as soon as I jump in the room, I'm going to hit video on, it's going to pop up. I have this require meeting password. I have that unmarked. Again, there are people who highly recommend keeping this checked. That's up to you. I would recommend just, there's a trade-off, and at least consider what the trade-off is. It's going to be more difficult for people to come and meet with you if you have a password required. Your meeting options, enable join before host and enable waiting room. Understand this, if you have enable waiting room marked, then people cannot join before host. It's really one or the other. You can mark both boxes. Only one of them is going to work though. If you have enable waiting room marked, people cannot join without you. So use that as you will. Make sure to hit save here at the bottom. And then this link right here is the link to your personal Zoom meeting. This is your personal meeting room that you can share out. And you can copy and paste this, that zoom.us/j/whatever your code is. Now, I really like things to look a little bit cleaner. And so the next thing we're going to look at is how to create a custom domain name for this specifically. Now, before we move on, do you guys have any questions around the options here in the meeting settings in Zoom? Awesome. Howard's loving the beard. I appreciate that, Howard. I just want to catch up to you, sir. Honestly, I'm probably going to get discouraged because it's not going to be as glorious as yours, so it'll probably be shaved tomorrow. I'm a little bit multiple personality when it comes to the beard. Okay, so I'm going to copy this right here. Now I can go in and I can paste it. When I go to that website, it's going to automatically prompt me to pop into that meeting room. I can also go on my mobile device if I have the app downloaded and do the same thing. You're going to want to encourage people to download the app if ahead of time if they're going to be meeting you in the room. So when you're setting the appointment, encourage them to download the Zoom app and then send them this link. Now I do want to, in this case, you guys are going to hear the doggies are waiting to go for a walk, so you'll hear the dogs in the back. The wonders of working at home, folks.
Yep.
So I'm going to visit my account. I'm at GoDaddy.com. Now this will work with any custom domain provider if you have a custom domain name. For me, I'm going to show all of them, and I use TexasSold'em.com. So I'm going to click DNS. This opens up all of my settings. We're going to scroll down past all of this. And we're going to look at forwarding. Now, forwarding is a really powerful way where if you own a domain, then you don't have to pay for anybody to host your site. If you have a destination URL that you want to use and you just want to make it look fancy when you send it to somebody in the first place, this is how we're going to do it. We're going to add a subdomain. And the subdomain is the portion that goes before your domain. So in this case, now I already have it, but I would type Zoom, or maybe I would type meet. So meet.texassold'em.com. Now I do have another one here that we're going to be using. Let's scroll through. So homeconsult.tech. So you may want to go in and purchase a domain to make this look nice. You don't have to. You can share that Zoom link just fine. We're going to go to Manage DNS in homeconsult.tech. I'm going to come here and add meet.homeconsult.tech. I'm going to paste what I had previously copied before, that Zoom link. And then right here at the beginning, this is important. This part that says https://. I need to make this on the left match what that says. And I need to backspace on that. So you've got to remove that from your destination, from your forward to link. And then we're going to change that to https://. Now, when I save that, at this point in time, when I go to meet.homeconsult.tech, it's going to take me to a Zoom room automatically. It takes just a moment, folks. Don't be surprised if it doesn't happen immediately, because it, there we go. It takes a moment to change the forwarding in the background. So I can see it's trying to open up a Zoom meeting at this point. I'm in one, so I'm not going to click this because it'll remove me from this room that I'm in. But very simply now, anybody whom I send meet.homeconsult.tech, they can jump in. Now, the next thing we're going to look at is the actual consult itself and understand, well, in fact, let's jump over. So we looked on Monday at creating our listing presentation. We would download it to a PDF. We would upload it to Google Drive. In case you guys have never used Google Drive before, you'll go to Google Drive very simply and click File Upload. You're going to find that PDF wherever it is you hosted it on there, and you're going to upload it right there. Assuming you've already uploaded it, then we're going to click right-click on this. We find our listing consult, get a shareable link. I'm going to go to sharing settings and make sure that anyone with the link can view. You can change all your sharing settings here. But anyone at the link can view. We're going to copy the link. And I'm simply going to do the same thing. In this case, I've already done it. We're going to go to add. We're going to type the subdomain that we want. We're going to paste that Google Drive link in there and save. And the effect is this. Now I don't have to email a listing consult to my prospective clients. I can simply send them 2125.homeconsult.tech. And it's going to pull up a PDF for them. They can then scroll through this entire thing themselves. They can choose to download it if they wish. Now, if you want to send this as a supplement in addition to sending a PDF through email, the reason I mentioned this, PDFs can be very, very large file sizes, especially if you have high resolution images, especially if you've created it in a good design platform like within Command. It's a very heavy file size. Most email platforms will not send the PDF that you download from Command Designs. All right, so you're gonna want to send a link instead. This is similar to sending somebody in Dropbox. Really, it's the same concept. It just looks a little bit prettier because you can tell them to go to their address, .homeconsult.tech, or whatever it is, the custom website that you do. Now, again, if we just want to instead send them the Drive link, you can just send them the entire drive.google.com, that entire thing, and they can click that. Not as pretty, it works just the same, and it'll save you a couple steps. All right. Any questions at this point? Sharing of links, creating subdomains, any of that?
Hey, Seth, Laura asked if you could do custom domains through Command.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so Laura, you cannot currently do it through Command. Right now, your only custom subdomain in Command is whatever it is, .kw.com. So in my case, it's themillsgroup.kw.com. Laura's asking, you can insert a hyperlink into your email and shorten the link for your Google Drive files you share. You absolutely can. Yep. So you can share, looks like I can't do it here, but a lot of times you can shorten the link pretty simply. So Yeah, so we can't share directly out those kind of file links, not publicly at least, directly from Command. So we'll want to download the PDF and do a little bit differently. Understand, this is a new world for us, doing everything virtually and everything digitally. And so our Keller Williams technology will catch up, and it's going to take a minute. And so we've got some additional things that we can do to make this a top-notch experience for our client. It's just going to require us to know a little bit more and to maybe put a little bit more effort forward. Now, if we want to download that PDF and email it to them, that's fine. Let's look at the next thing, and that's actually conducting our meeting. Okay, so we're finished here. So again, we've taken our entire listing consult, we've downloaded it from within the Designs platform, and now we've got it here in front of us. We're going to share our screen within Zoom so we can pull this up with our clients, and then we're going to go full screen mode. This allows us to take this entire PDF and actually flip through page by page. So you guys can't see, but I'm using my hands and I'm just clicking the right button, the right arrow on my keyboard, and it's flipping through one piece at a time. Now I can use my mouse and I can scroll through as well. Now I'm using the scroll wheel. It'll work either way. Now this works whether you have Adobe Acrobat Pro or if you have Adobe Acrobat Reader. Either one can view in full screen. This is not the same thing as read mode. If you use read mode, it'll very slowly scroll through instead. I prefer to keep focus on one page at a time, and so I think it's important that we click full screen mode instead. Now with the screen shared, we can flip through and do all of this. Now I would probably have this up and I'd talk to them and say, Lucas and Jen, I thank you for inviting me to your home today. Before we get into all of this, I'd love to take a tour around your house. I've got the information here about your house, and I'm pretty sure it's accurate, but we don't know that for sure. So I'm going to stop screen share, and if you would, just take me through your home. You can guide them to, if they're on their smartphone or if they're on their laptop, then you're just going to start from the front to the back of their home, tour through every single house. Be sure to have, you guys can't see unless I hold it out in front of me, be sure to have a paper and a pen with you. Take notes, just as if you're walking through the home with them the entire time. Remember, this is no different a personal connection than if we were there face to face with them. So have conversation, allow them to tour the entire thing. Ask questions, ask them to go very close in detail. What type of countertop is that? What are those? I see the flooring looks like wood. Is that wood like tile? Is that engineered hardwood? Is that luxury vinyl plank? Is that laminate? Is that nail down? Ask these questions, dig in. Ask for additional views. So if you get into the master bedroom and you can't see all the different walls, ask that they point up to the ceiling and they point to the walls. This is a really good time to ask because at this point, we've probably at least visited the exterior of the home, or if you haven't, then make sure to schedule a follow-up visit with them so you can tour the outside of it, even though we haven't actually gone on the inside because this is virtual. But what we won't be able to see are things like cracks in the drywall. So let them know the importance of, hey, if there are settlement cracks from the foundation settling, it's important that we know that, because whether or not it's a foundation issue, we at least want to be able to address it. Is it something that can be simply touched up with paint? Or should I get a foundation specialist out there this next week so they can check it out and make sure it's something that we're not going to get surprised with later on? Ask these questions. Ask them, is there peeling paint on the outside of the house? Do all the windows open and close properly? There are certain things with lower resolution video. I'll say this differently. The video on our screens is lower resolution than our eyesight in real life. And so it's important that we ask these questions when we're walking through the entire time. All right. Ask them about recent updates. Ask them to point out as you're walking through what they've done to the home. Did they paint? Did they replace the light fixtures? It's a really good time to get all those details. It's been a best practice for a long time to have a full list of upgrades to the home, whether they're repairs or true upgrades, and to post those in the transaction desk. I think right now it's pretty much vital that we have a full list. And it's going to take us asking a few more questions in order to get that information. Okay. Once you go through the full tour, let them know that you've got some information and you're going to share your screen now, and we're going to go through the rest of this. Here we go. Go through the rest of this piece. So share with them, hey, this is what I've got on tax records. I verified it against the last time you sold your house or when you guys purchased your house, and it looks like you've got 4 bedrooms, 3.5 bath. It's built in 2006. Now the square footage should be accurate. That's what's listed on tax records. We would of course want to verify that with a measurement. That's break script real quick. That's just what I do personally. I get a measurement of every one of my listings. If you don't, then maybe don't commit to that. I tell them how it compares against the neighborhood, and just very vaguely say, in this case, it looks like a little bit lower than the average price. Now, what's that mean to you? Well, the average price right now sold in that neighborhood is $348,000. Average listing price is $461,000. Go into the market stats, dive in and talk, and this is your chance to show how you are a hyperlocal neighborhood expert. Now, what your prospective clients don't know is that this was created by a computer program. Now, you did have to put in some of the stuff yourself, type it in, but these nice visuals, these nice graphics, they assume that you created this all yourself. So lean into that and be that local neighborhood expert. Take as much time as you need to set the stage. Right now, we've gone in detail about their home, so we're going to step back and we're going to talk about the market in general. And this is a good time to talk about what's happening right now with COVID and how that's affecting the real estate market as well. This is not the time to talk about your specific marketing plan. Right now, this is just analysis. This is just telling them kind of what are the external factors that are going to influence your ability to sell and that are going to affect the value of your home as well. Stop and ask questions. Before you flip on, make sure to see what else they want to know about the neighborhood. The comparable properties, these are, so we've talked about the neighborhood at large. Now we're going to get into the specific homes that are going to affect their value. Again, this is probably not a time to talk about their home price specifically, because there are a lot of other things that are going to impact the value on that. And so we're just going to go through one by one. Now, be sure to memorize or be sure to remember that they may know these homes. They've lived in the neighborhood maybe for a long time. These may be their neighbors. So ask them, this home on Montana, are you familiar with that one? No? Okay. Well, it's similar size. They listed for this and they sold for this in 75 days. Gene Autry, are you familiar with this one? And take them through one by one. I see often as agents, we put together this stuff, we take it for granted. We are used to seeing massive lists of data all together at once. And we like to look at it as a snapshot instead of diving in individual by individual. Once you're done looking at that, and again, you might not talk about pricing their home at all at this point. What you might do is say, you know, based on those comps right there and what you had thought about initially, do you have an idea for what you're looking to sell for? Okay. Pause, let them respond. At some point, they're going to ask, well, what do you think? Well, let's get into that. I need to know a little bit more about you and the situation before I can give proper advice on where we should list. This right here is the part where you break, you stop sharing your screen, and you just talk to them. This is person to person. This is a conversation. This is getting to know them. This is all about building the relationship. And that page that I just stopped sharing said, your needs come first. And it is nothing but a list of questions. The rest of this entire listing console does not matter at all if you don't get to know them and their motivation. Motivation, urgency, their pain points, what they're trying to avoid and what they're trying to accomplish, these things are more important now than they have ever been. And we must ensure that we don't let the computer screens between us keep us from building the relationship and understanding truly how we can best serve them. We can only serve them best if we understand more about why they're doing this and what they're looking to accomplish. The rest of it is stuff that you might share. I generally don't go through page by page, depending on how they depending on the story they're telling and where their motivation is and what they're trying to accomplish, it's going to guide whether or not they even care about my marketing plan. Maybe they don't care about my marketing plan, but they care a lot about my credentials. Maybe they don't care about my credentials at all, but they want to know how quickly, okay, that's fine. Can I sign the paperwork? Can we be done now? Well, if they have a sense of urgency, they don't want to go through the rest of it, you should be ending the Zoom call and sending them the documents. Now understand, you can share your screen with just about anything. And if you, as we talked about in the very first session here, if you're doing it side by side, or if you've got multiple monitors, you can have a conversation with them while you're preparing all of their listing documents. You can email it to them immediately and say, hey, you just got the DocuSign on your phone, go ahead and pull it up and sign it so I can get it marketed immediately. Okay. Some other things you guys might want to do. You might want to show people, showcase what are you doing differently right now to market your homes. And so if you're doing things like a Matterport scan, now's a really good time to share that. So you might take them to your Matterport scan and actually show them in full screen what it looks like to have a full 3D virtual tour of their home online. Give them a taste for what it's going to be like working with you as opposed to other agents. You can show them the dollhouse view. If they have a virtual headset, they can walk through the entire thing. Guys, this is a really powerful piece. And there's been a sense for a long time that this would discourage buyers from seeing the house. That's kind of the case right now. That's kind of the point right now. That the only buyers that we want in the house are the ones that are very, very serious. This gives the home exposure to a huge number of people in a very big way. We've got captive buyers sitting on their couch, staring at their screen all day long. If we can put our listings in front of their face and allow them to tour it at their leisure, my goodness, it's powerful. And it gives you the tools that you need to take more listings as well. Make sure to talk about your unique value during your listing consults. What questions you guys have? We're out of time, but I'd love to take some questions.
I have a quick question. It might have been asked because I just got here late. With that Matterport, the dollhouse view and stuff, how does that go with like security? Do you think there might be an issue where people are afraid that people might see their blueprint and it might be easier for them, security to, maybe know their layout of their house?
So I've heard that before, and it's a really common, the most common implication that has is after a closing, there are realtors that will take down all the photos from the MLS. I think it's a terrible disservice to the entire industry. And so I don't recommend that, but it's the same concern, right? This happens a lot in the higher end market of real estate. That might be a concern, but I don't know. Here's the thing. If you want to sell your home, you're going to have to take extraordinary measures. If you don't want uninterested buyers walking through your home, then let's put a 3D floor plan in front of the buyers so they can take a walk through. And if they see a deal breaker, they don't have to walk through, right? You don't have to leave your house. You don't have to sanitize all your surfaces for a buyer that's not even going to buy your home. If we open it up to all buyers to walk through, not only are you putting your personal security and health at risk, but the buyer that would be interested in getting a schematic floor plan to see how they could best rob your home, they're going to do that a lot better in person than they would do online. I don't know that I would say that script specifically, but I don't think I think it's simple enough to pivot off of that. Most people have their sketch of their home on public tax records already. It's very easy to obtain through Realist. I don't think that's a major concern whatsoever.
Okay. Thank you, Seth. Appreciate
You're welcome. Absolutely, Lupe. That's a great question.
This is going to be on the central, whatever this.
Yeah, this will be on GoCentralSet.com. This will also be on NTXNMMforum.com. And yeah, NTXNMMforum.com.
Again.
If you look at the top of the chat, Christy Lee had posted it, and
Oh,
you can
okay,
copy and paste right into your
Nice.
browser.
I just put it in again.
Yeah,
Awesome.
please do.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Just put it in again.
Yep, you guys can check it out there. It won't be there today, but you'll have it soon.
Wonderful. Thank you.
A couple other
It just
questions.
takes there too.
Yeah. How many domains are you allowed through GoDaddy? You can purchase as many domains as you like. I think I don't know, I probably own 25 different domains. I'm a fan of custom domains. I buy a bunch, and then if I don't use them within a year or 2 years, whatever I had done, then I just let them lapse or I sell them. Because you'd be surprised the domains that you can pick up for $12 and you can sell for $500 or $1,000. You can actually make money on it. As far as subdomains, I've not found a limit. GoDaddy might have a limit on subdomains, but I haven't reached it yet. And trust me, I have pushed the limits, if there are some, on my Texas Soldom domain. Can you provide the link where these videos can be viewed again? We've got that. Instructions to setting up a Zoom meeting anywhere. Angela, I would highly recommend plug into Zoom. Go to their website. They've got tutorials. They will walk you through the entire thing. They've got great help articles, and they can get you in on all of that. Also, I will say this: you all should have a tech driver in your market center. Use them. Talk to them. Send them an email. Drop them a text. If they have hours that they're available specifically, schedule a session with them. If you want to be walked through Zoom, they're very familiar with Zoom right now. They're all using it.
We were all on Zoom this morning.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, we were. And Andrew, the next meeting is this Friday at 3:00. Yes, right now we are doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday, revisiting. We thought it'd be more valuable for you guys if you only had 3 sessions to show up each week, but now there's people asking for more. So we'll see. We'll get back to you on that. But
Yeah,
Friday, Friday, 3:00 is the next one. We will see you guys there. Thank you for joining today. Let's see, if you want to have a Zoom, you can share Facebook, webinar, meeting. Yes. Great drop, Laura. You guys can take these Zooms. You can go live on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all kinds of stuff. Cool. Anyhow, thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
Guys, see you Friday.
Thank you.